new season 2 here. Today I'm joined by the most fabulous and amazing queen. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm great. Congratulations, you won Team Peteti Universe. How are you feeling though right now?
Oh, I'm feeling so honored to have this title, and I'm just grateful for the support and for my journey this far.
This is amazing, take me back when you on the grand finale, how was that feeling, for you though, like just break it down.
I think before I went on stage, I was feeling obviously nervous, having stage fright. But when I was on stage, I just had to put myself together and say, just take advantage of this moment and be present. And so I was really making the most of it, enjoying myself and just giving it my all.
That's amazing. So who is Iman?
Iman. So I'm 18 years old from Johannesburg, and I'm passionate about youth mental empowerment. And so that led me to create Glow From Within, which is my advocacy, and just built on this belief that empowered minds create empowered futures.
Right.
Yeah.
This is amazing. How do you describe your journey in pageantry? How was your introduction into pageantry?
Well, so I saw pageantry through social media. That's where my interest began. But before pageantry, I was focused more in like acting, ballet. So I was still in the performing arts, but not so much in the pageantry space.
Okay.
But I was pulled towards the pageantry space because it had more like purpose. So leading with purpose, being an inspiration, creating an impact beyond just performing.
Right.
And so that's truly what was my inspiration, was just to inspire and to be a leader.
How are you building towards being a good role model?
So I do this obviously by ensuring that everything that I preach, I practice. And so obviously showing that on social media, sharing encouraging messages, as well as following through with my outreach and just sharing a message of hope and showing people that we can all make a difference, whether it's small or big, but your difference matters.
Right. Let's talk about the biggest person in your life right now. The most amazing about that. How do you the fact that I lost that muscle. Your biggest role model is your mom, right? She's amazing, right? How do you, maybe some kids that maybe don't have that support system, how do you feel about your mom always being present in your life?
Well, definitely. She is literally always by my side, and she's the one managing everything. I wouldn't have been able to do it without her. And so it's definitely something that I'm grateful for and that I don't take lightly. And I do remind myself to appreciate what I have. And to make the most of it, because she's there to help me and she's willing to help me, and so I allow her to help me and we work together. We do have our moments where the mother-daughter relationship, but it's definitely something that I'm so grateful for and not take it lightly.
This is amazing. Can you share a story behind your crowning youth innovation and why and your mental empowerment is so important to you?
Yes, so mental empowerment is so important to me because it's something that started my journey. So the Iman you see today, quite recently I was not always like this, especially in high school. I felt like I had lost myself and lost touch with who I really was, what I wanted to do. And so I felt stuck and undergoing my mental journey, and focusing on my mental health and empowering myself mentally is really what has gotten me to where I am today. And so it's important for me because I feel that there's often mental issues that we don't necessarily focus on, and that can impact a lot of your life and how you show up in the world.
It's just amazing, interesting, speaking about mental health. A lot of girls, they often don't want to open up about that side of their lives. How do you encourage them to, or maybe if there is like platforms that encourage other people, other pageant girls, not necessarily pageant girls, people in general, women in general. Maybe if you know particular people that actually deal with people that actually mental health.
So for me, how I found more about mental health and mental empowerment was through social media. There's a lot of people who also speak on mental health issues. So if you go on YouTube and you listen to podcasts, there's many different creators. But it's all in terms of which aspect of your mental health you want to explore. Sometimes it's just about feeling more confident or believing in yourself. So it's not necessarily going there typing, oh, mental health, or it's just that specific area that you're looking for. That's where you could start. Maybe if you're feeling intimidated or scared or not so sure. So that's how you start, and then it builds when you see other videos, and those videos help. They motivate you, and people, when you watch these videos, you get inspired, and they speak things that touch your heart, and so that's how it. Yeah, that's how you go about it.
That's amazing. I feel like from what I'm picking up from this conversation, right, the confident, sometimes when I'm looking back as well on myself, I was actually, way back, in my high school, I was so, boxed out, I didn't want to talk, so shy, so quiet, how do you feel, how do you feel about pageant girls, pageant sisters that might feel like they're still in the shell, they don't want to come out of that shell?
Well, so how I feel about that is that it's natural, it's normal. I think most people go through that phase where they want to be in a box, sometimes to protect yourself because you're scared. And I think the main thing for me was that I would do things even though I was still afraid. So it's not like the box just disappeared. It was still there, but I had to sort of just step out of it a little bit, even if it's just for 5 minutes. Like sometimes you just have to find confidence somewhere. Just for 5 minutes, you tell yourself it's just for this moment, and after that I can go back into that box. But with time, you sort of step out of the box because you do that so much that the box just disappears. But it's a journey, yes.
That's amazing. How do you stay motivated and always pumped up to do everything?
So definitely it's going back to your why you do everything. Because if you don't have that why, it's your purpose, right? So staying connected to your purpose, staying connected to yourself, and just what makes you unique, embracing those qualities is how you get motivated to push through.
Yeah. What are some of the things that you're learning in the process of you embracing the title, you as a title holder? What are some things that you're learning and unlearning, and also being a good role model and representing your crown as well, representing and protect your crown as well?
So I'm learning that it's important to put yourself out there, and sometimes the opportunities will find you, but you need to go and find them. But just putting yourself outside of your comfort zone, that's where the real growth happens. And I'm also learning that you need a community. You cannot do this on your own.
I'm thinking about people that maybe might say, I don't need you, I don't need people and stuff like that. What advice do you have for them actually?
I would just tell them that, sometimes it's a bit unrealistic to put everything on yourself. You can burn out. And sometimes there's skills and knowledge that other people will have. And so to just open your mind and just allow them to also put in the input. But you don't have to take it. If you feel like, no, that's not, aligned with me, then you don't have to, but just give it that opportunity. You never know what can happen, because sometimes the biggest opportunities that you find are through other people.
Yeah, right. That's so interesting, how when it comes to social media branding, how are you learning to brand yourself as the queen that you are today?
So it's all about just staying true to yourself and putting an image out there of who you are, not faking it, not trying to appeal to people or try and do what you think is going to please everyone else. You have to put out what you like, who you really are, because then you can actually maintain that image, and it's nothing that tomorrow they see you and you're like, oh, that's you, but on social media it's something different.
So it's sort of like filtered.
Yes.
Right. You actually had the most amazing highlights in your life. You get the feel of going to overseas. How was that for you?
Oh, that trip was amazing. It was exciting, and it's so important to see something other than your environment. It grows your mind, and you see that there's possibilities out there, and it keeps you motivated as well. Yes.
Okay, that's nice. So what's next? You as a title holder, you also preparing overseas,
Yes.
another trip again.
Yes.
What are some of the things that you also are learning? Some of the things that you, when you look back on the past traveling, past trip. I mean,
Yes.
what are some of the things that you look back and it was so fascinating. You don't want to repeat them again. You want to learn it and learn.
So some of the things I'm learning
Yeah.
going through this journey now is that preparation is key. You know, I'm also learning to also start preparing much earlier so that closer to the time you can be more relaxed, right? You don't want to a night before still be all over the place. You want to just be grounded. You want to be able to just relax and to so also so that you're able to be receptive to the environment and able to communicate with people around you more and appreciate where you are without worrying about this, and that because you were rushing.
Yeah. What do you look up to in the pageant industry?
Oh, pageant industry. Oh, actually, I look up to Natasha Hubert.
Right.
She was Miss South Africa 2023.
Amazing, right?
Yes, she was one of my first inspirations. She just embodies a true queen. She is poised. She is herself, and she doesn't portray any fake image or try to be this perfect human being. She shows who she is, and she's unapologetic about that. So I definitely look up to her.
Right. Yeah. So about your foundation, foundation.
Yes.
This is great.
Okay.
I'm a lead, right?
Oh, Iman, that's the crash.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay, good. So, what inspired you to begin renovation
Yes.
at Imagine Crash, and what impact have you seen so far?
Okay, so through my foundation, Glow from Within, I decided to adopt Imagine Crash as my main charity place, and that's because when I first went there to do arts and crafts with the children, because they're quite small, they're like 3, 4, 5 years old, right? They're still in their very early years of their childhood, and so when I went there, I noticed that there was issues in the environment, and it is true that your environment impacts the mindset, impacts how you show up and everything. And I saw that where I can help with the environment, physical environment, I definitely should, because through my mental empowerment initiatives that I advocate for, that's also one of the steps that I'm going to take. So yes.
What are some challenges that you faced as a pageant girl? That maybe some pageant girls that are open to talk about?
I think it's that wanting to always show up as this perfect person. Some days you obviously won't be feeling 100% motivated or wanting to, put up the camera and record, take photos exactly. And you look at yourself and be like, oh, I don't like this photo, I don't look nice, yeah. But it's just having that resilience to say, I still need to post it, but also because you realize that that's how you are relatable. Not everyone takes a photo of themselves like, wow, that's beautiful, yes. So by stepping out of my comfort zone and just allowing those things was,
that is amazing.
Yeah.
Shout out to people that are actually around you. I think sometimes it's so cool when you actually building your brand.
Yes.
Your circle of people that are around you really matters.
Yes, it definitely does.
This is amazing. You're crowning the youth initiatives, such a powerful idea. How do you come up with that concept and symbols of crowns, and what has been ensuring response to be like?
So how I came up with the concept was that I saw that this idea that you're only worthy because you have a crown, or only once you have the title, the position, or anything in life, it's not the truth, right? Because we're already worthy exactly how we are. And so the crown is just a symbol for the kids to remind themselves that they are kings and queens now. They don't need to compete to be that queen or the princess, the prince that they are, that's already within them. And so that's where it came from.
Yeah. What advice do you have for some people that might, that sort of like sometimes think of when you don't win the crown, the journey is over? What advice do you have for some people like that?
So the advice I give them is that the crown doesn't make you define it doesn't define you. And so you yourself as a person are not made by the crown, right? So it's important that you don't put your worth on the crown and say, but if I don't get that crown, it's over. Like what am I gonna do with my life? There's still so much for you to do, and the crown just allows you to sort of spread who you are, to spread a difference through a larger platform, right? And so, but you yourself can still do that, and it's just about staying true to yourself and just knowing your why and why you're doing what you're doing.
Right.
Yes.
Maybe so some people they don't understand the meaning of staying true to yourself as a pageant girl. How do you explain? How do you break it down? What it feels like to be true to yourself? Because I feel like if you don't, it's not easy to explain what it is.
Yes.
You don't resonate with it.
Yes.
Like maybe if you can explain what it is to feel like to be staying true to yourself.
Yes, so staying true to yourself is just, I think it's representing the values that that you maybe grew up with or that you believe in, right? And so doing things from a place of comfort, right? So if someone tells you to do something and you don't want to do it, but you still do it, that's not staying true to yourself, right? Staying true to yourself is saying, no, that's not who I am. I don't associate myself with that. So I'm going to stick to how I do it. Yes, you don't compromise. And also you don't feel the need to sort of uphold a certain standard, right? Try to be something that you're not, because everyone is doing this, I have to do it. But it's all about, do you really want to do it, right? So it's about what you want to do. That's how you stay true to yourself.
That's amazing. What are some foundations that you're also collaborating to?
So I've collaborated with the Winnie Mabaso Foundation, but it's more of like a home for children. And so what I did was I visited the girls, and we do like more like empowering talks. And one thing I realized when I was there was that, so we did an exercise where you had to say one thing you love about yourself and then one thing you love about the girl next to you. And one thing I realized was that oftentimes we don't know what we love about ourselves, but we're so quick to say something about someone else. And so that's one thing I realized through collaborating. So,
Okay, this is amazing. How did your journey with Ace Models, how 2024 shaped your career?
Oh, I think joining Ace Models has been it has been such an important journey for me. Even now, I'm still with them, but they've helped me to step out of my comfort zone. And going to class, attending class every single week, it's those little steps that build you, the moments that people don't see, and the consistency, and it's what helps you, and especially my pageant journey, because obviously we did pageant coaching, modeling coaching, and that's where you step out of your shell, and that's how I became the version of myself I am today.
Okay. What's next for women right now?
So right now, obviously competing internationally at the Teen Universe International stage at the 15th anniversary, and after that, it's pursuing my studies in law.
Okay. Oh, yeah, look, girl. Wow. That's so interesting, the fact that we also had Garabo.
Yes.
She just left before you came. She's also into politics and stuff like that. So I'm like, right. What is a word of encouragement for people that look up to you, actually?
Wow. It would definitely be that they're capable of anything that they dream of, and that their dreams are valid. You are worthy, and you just need to take that leap forward and just expect the best and put in the work and know that with that you can achieve anything.
That's so amazing, man. Speaking of coming to February, you're preparing for such a big stage. What are some of the preparations that you want to put in place?
So definitely focusing on my mental well-being, of course, taking time to just make sure that I've got the right mindset, I'm going into this with the right mindset, and also focusing on my physical health, my health in terms of what I'm eating, my fitness, as well as also looking at the impact that I'm creating, continuing that, and not just focusing on just myself, but also remembering why I'm doing this and continuing my impact, as well as obviously looking for sponsorships, that will help me in my journey, and yes.
That's so amazing, Thank you so much for coming on the safe space. Wishing all the best,
Thank
with your trip as well.
Yes.
Yeah. If maybe if people wanna collaborate with you, where
Yes.
can they get you?
So they can find me on Instagram, imansekoto.x, and also glow from within _is on Instagram. Yes.
That's amazing. Wishing you all the best.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Alright, cool. See you on the next episode.